And when we submit our reports, it's to document what the facts are. Nobody can question the fact that people have died in these clashes and that the numbers keep rising and that the communities are suffering. We have hundreds and thousands of people in IDP camps. Who has led this to happen? Why is it so difficult for people's life to be protected? Why is it such a challenging situation we find ourselves, where people's life has become so cheap? And that is what we really should be asking right now. We need to end these killings. We need to end this harvest of death that seems to be escalating in such large numbers that is quite worrisome. In this year alone, the number of people that have died as a result of herders and farmers is far more than the fight in the insurgency.
Can you just, I know you talked about the research. It's Ojigo, sorry. You talked about the research. So can you just tell us how you went about this? You went, going through your report, you talked about visiting some villages, you talked about visiting some communities. Did you go to all of these communities where these incidents happened?
In our methodology, we explained that we visited 56 villages in those 5 states. But we also conducted remote interviews with people from the other regions. And what do we mean by this? When you conduct a research, you also look at the capacity and the resources you have. And that is why we keep emphasizing that this is at least 3,641. For the communities that you all know, and even based on media monitoring, 22 states have been affected by these herders and farmer clashes alone. That tells you that the number can be much, much higher. But these 5 states we visited and the remote interviews we were able to have in states like Nasarawa, whereby we met with people who are affected by this conflict, you would find that this is something that is becoming a growing menace in our society. We also used the information that was made available by the state governments themselves. As at the time of writing the report, only Enugu state government gave us information in terms of the cases they are prosecuting. Right now, 5 people are facing trial as a result of their involvement in this, in creating violence in that state. Benue State only sent their information as at the time we had already printed the report, and we're still evaluating the information they've shared with us. So you can see that this is not something that came out of the sky. It's something that is live, it's something that is people's lived experiences. And this is why we are calling for action. Please, we need to act. We need to stop these killings. And the only way we can stop it is if we can intervene on time, if our security agents are able to tackle this thing and prevent the attacks from occurring in the first place. Look at the incident of 2nd May in Adamawa State, where 5 villages were razed down. In that particular instance, we even got alerted. We had just left the venue of some of those villages when they contacted us saying, look, they are coming again. They are coming to attack us again. And we immediately notify the military posted in that area. We even tweeted about it urgently because we wanted it to get to their attention. And they acted, albeit a bit late, because people's villages had already gone. But in the process, they arrested some people. That was 2nd of May. What has happened till date? Those people that were arrested, that were picked up, what happened to them? Were they investigated? Were they prosecuted? And this is what people are seeing. People are not seeing justice being served. And this is leading to a greater impunity because people would feel that they cannot be held accountable for their actions. So we want more efficient delivery of these processes.
Mr. Ajigbo, your report that you've put forth in 2018 and all that seems to be generating a lot of concerns, especially in the government quarters. But you say you always communicate with government or the authorities before you publish. How do you communicate?
We send letters. We call with those that we have numbers for. We try to have meetings. Oftentimes, they acknowledge our letters. Some will give meeting times, and then we've met with them. Most often, especially with the Nigerian military, they have rebuffed any attempts and requests for meetings. Severally, we have requested these meetings, and we've not been granted an audience. So what do we do? People's lives are dying. Should we stop our work?
But then this is not the first time you'll be getting a backlash from the authorities as regards reports you publish. Would it?
No, this is not the first time, and that's why we're saying the action should not be to dismiss. The action that is required is for them to investigate. It's for them to actually go to the root causes of these allegations. There needs to be a more responsive and accountable way of dealing with things. People have lost their lives. People have lost their homes. People have lost their livelihoods. This is not a situation we want to be persisting in our country.
But then it appears...
it or pretending it doesn't exist will not stop these killings from happening. We need to act, and we need to act now.
Are you aware that the president, Muhammad Buhari, at some point gave that executive marching order to the Nigerian military to stop the herders, should I say now, the crisis in the middle belt of the country from going on? Are you aware about that stance of the president?
If orders are not being implemented and it's resulting in deaths, what needs to happen? There needs to be more pressure on the security agents to protect life and property. People are dying. People do not have any homes to live in. And just